to call on the lovely Lara Fernandez. And Lara is an Allied Health Educator and Clinical Care Coordinator at Royal Rehab, private, and she has graduated from Sydney University in 1994 as an OT, and she's worked in various places as a neuro OT, and neuro is definitely her passion. She has a very close alignment with stroke and has for many, many years. She's worked in rural New South Wales, and she's worked in public and private hospitals as well. So I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce Lara, and she is one of the big supporters of this association. So Lara is going to talk to you today about mental health post-stroke.
So I was asked to talk about mental fitness after stroke, and I guess mental fitness can be interpreted in many different ways. So hopefully the slant I've taken may ring some bells. We have already done our acknowledgement of country this morning, but I guess I also want to really acknowledge the expertise and the knowledge of all of you. Yeah. I just want to acknowledge the expertise here in the room. Listening to that panel, wow. And I've just been to the stroke conference as well, where I've listened to a lot of people with lived experience, and I think that's 30 years as an OT. I think I'm learning more and more every day from everyone like you. So I think today, I'm not here really as an expert, I'm here more just to raise awareness about the importance of mental fitness. We've just heard about physical fitness, and while the physical effects of a stroke may be easier to spot, and may be better understood by family and friends, health professionals as well, there are the other kinds of effects, which we usually call hidden effects, I guess, of stroke. And these can be even more difficult for people who've had a stroke to live with or to explain and to express. And I think even health professionals have difficulty in explaining these hidden deficits as well, and hence often they are ignored. Even in research, it tends to be not acknowledged as much as what the physical improvements and rehab can be. So today I'm going to talk about what is mental fitness, how stroke may affect mental fitness, why it's important, and some strategies to maybe boost mental fitness. Although I think the panel has really answered that question anyway, talking about the importance of positivity, the importance of relationships. We've just heard about the importance of being physical as well. So a lot of those tips are what I'm going to talk about. I'm going to have to take this off as well. Sorry. I feel like I could sing. So basically mental fitness is our ability to perform at our best each day, navigate the challenges and support a state of positive mental well-being, even during the challenging times. And that was from one of the websites. Promoting mental fitness is about being proactive in caring for your mental health, improving cognitive function, which I'll go into more, and enhancing your ability to bounce back from setbacks. This is technology. Oops. There. So basically it's the ability to think clearly and to make decisions efficiently and effectively, which sometimes can be hard. Taking in all the information, weighing it all up, and making those decisions. The state of your mental well-being also has an impact on your resilience. It includes your emotional, your psychological, and your social health. So basically, why is it important? It impacts our life. It impacts our quality of life. It can affect our safety, our productivity, our independence, and our personal relationships. So all the things that make us up that are so important. How a stroke may affect, and again, this is just some of the broad ways. So those hidden effects. of stroke may include those cognitive impacts. So those are how we think, our memory, how we process information, changes in our mental health, and changes in our emotions. All of those things that we can't see. You look fine, there's nothing wrong with you. Depression and anxiety and sleep problems are also common after stroke. And these also then have another effect on our cognitive ability. So it's that sort of cycle where one thing impacts the other. After a stroke, your mental fitness can also influence your recovery. So it affects how you may handle the challenges, manage stress, and then engage in activities. So pretty important. I've mentioned cognitive effects quite a few times. So they are around how the brain understands and organises the information. So it's basically how we, our memory, how we take that information in, how we process it, and how we bring it back out. The other hidden effect is mental health. Anxiety and depression can lead to a lack of confidence, and I think we've heard that as well today. And obviously feelings and emotions can change. You have feelings of frustration. I think that was mentioned as well about the pool thing, loneliness and feeling nervous. But you look fine. That's often what people have said. And we see a lot of people in the community now who have been to hospital and been discharged very, very quickly because there hasn't been any physical effects. So you're fine, you can walk, off you go back home, and haven't been linked into support services. The Stroke Club, I think, Michelle, you probably get quite a lot of phone calls about people trying to work out where to go. But again, just that, you can walk, so you'll be fine, you can go home. And we're finding a lot of people eventually get to us, and a lot of the challenges that they're facing have a huge impact on their ability to work, to function from day to day, and that hasn't been recognised at all from that visit at the hospital. So this is actually from the UK, but 9 out of 10 stroke survivors told us when they did a survey that at least one cognitive impact, such as problems with memory or concentration, had affected them. 3/4 of stroke survivors experienced a change in their mental health. So they may have developed depression, anxiety, or even suicidal thoughts. It's pretty high. And around half of people felt anxious or frightened around the time of their stroke. And as we know, a stroke can really have an effect on how you feel emotionally. So like I said before, physical fitness gets a lot of attention, which we've just spoken about, and very important. And when I started looking through research really is all around, arm function, balance, getting back, mobilising. But there isn't still a lot of research in this area around these hidden deficits. Another little interesting fact, though, this comes from the stroke. They do a stroke audit every 2 years, and this one is the rehab stroke audit. And this is the last one. So it found 44% of people in rehab experienced mood problems post-stroke, but only 63% of patients received an assessment for depression and anxiety. So there's that whole section of people who isn't even being looked at. How do you know if someone, just by looking at someone? And after that, only 31%, or a third of services, actually had access to clinical or neuropsychologists. So trying to get assistance is also, so we're still lagging behind in this area. I really just put this up to show, you've probably seen this maybe in stroke booklets and on websites around stroke, of what parts of the brain control different things that we need to do. But when you start looking at it, a lot of it is all of those things that we can't see. So, our personality, our concentration, problem solving, planning, how we speak, calculation and writing. All of those things, there's not, yes, there's the movement side and the physical side, but there's a lot that isn't. So, what can we do to try and enhance our mental fitness? And again, I'm talking to the converted from listening to the panel and listening to everyone with their hands up. But we can basically look at physical strategies, social strategies, and then that's some cognitive strategies as well. I guess probably the biggest thing, and all of you are doing this, is what we know is doing in all its forms builds us, rebuilds us when something disrupts our path. Be it physical, mental, spiritual, how we spend our time is crucial to how we develop and how we feel. So I just thought that was quite, and I liked this photo of, that we learn by doing, touching, being out there, interacting with the world, interacting with others. It's all part of building that mental health, mental fitness. So strategies to enhance mental fitness. So obviously we heard just from Carla how important physical fitness is and the impact that it has on boosting our mood and also in assisting us with our cognition. And it's done that by how the endorphin release that we get when we do exercise, so the feel-good hormones that are released. Also, it enhances our self-esteem. And it improves our sleep, and it helps us to, with that stress reduction by doing that exercise. Another big impact on our mental health and our cognition is regaining function. And I guess that's what rehab and why lots of people are going to rehab post-stroke and continue to go and see physios and OTs and other health professionals is about regaining function, and whether that be little steps or larger improvements, every little bit helps. Regaining that independence in activities really helps us in boosting our self-esteem, gives us a sense of purpose. So all of that and participating in your activities of daily living is in making you use your cognition as well. So it all works in together. We've talked a lot about neuroplasticity, and I know you've probably heard about it, the rewiring of that brain, but again, engaging in exercise, the rehab exercises, the cognitive therapy is helping to rewire that brain. And that is one area that we do have the evidence in the research that is happening. So even doing memory and attention tasks, that repetition can help with that rewiring. The other thing they do talk about is cognitive reserve. So we can help build up our cognitive reserve in a way to help with any age-related decline. So there is evidence as we get older, we do have a decline in our cognition. But so by doing this therapy as well, we can help reduce that decline. Cognitive therapy, so I'm not sure if anyone has participated in this, maybe usually with OTs or speech pathologists, and it's mainly around either improving the way that you can increase your attention and your ability to memorise things, or it could be about learning different strategies, so it might be using notebooks or apps or other compensatory type approaches to help with your with that difficulty that you may be having, but to enable you to continue to live your life. So it could be, making. I've had some clients where I've asked them to watch the news, and at the end of the news have to write down what did you just watch, those sorts of things. So having to attend and focus on something, and then basically trying to retrieve the information. So it's practicing, it's another exercise that you're doing. other things that we can do is looking at our mental fitness from an emotional perspective, and mindfulness seems to be one of the new flash words out there at the moment. But it's basically those types of things like meditation, taking the time out of your day to actually consciously think about what's around you. Just taking time to think, look around you, some time out, and that can help. So it can help just in terms of reducing that stress and improving your mood as well. We all talk about goal setting in rehab, goal setting. It's become very popular. Wasn't when I first started as an OT, but definitely now everything's about goals. But it does allow you to see what you've achieved. So again, that can be a really nice way of improving your self-esteem and tracking what you've achieved. I know we've done the reps for recovery, where you make your goal and then you can track what your progress has been, and that's a really nice way of, oh wow, I've achieved something there. It's when I wave, it moves, isn't it? Did someone just say that? It is, if I move this. Okay, there you go. The other thing, which I think the panel made a really nice leadway into this, is for our mental fitness, it's really important to stay connected. And obviously I'm speaking to the converted here because you're all here. And Stroke Club is one of probably the best ways to stay connected, but really important for your emotional well-being. And I think Jenny was mentioning about also from the carer's perspective as well, how important that is as well. So obviously engaging with others promotes that sense of belonging, reduces that sense of isolation, and improves your overall well-being. Rehab, often going to rehab, and again there was that discussion about meeting other people at the rehab that you have something in common with, and then you go for coffee. That's a good way as well to create those connections. Obviously, connecting with others, with other stroke survivors and families and carers can be really important, and I think we've discussed that today. Probably the other thing is reach out to your healthcare professionals if you're needing advice. So like I said, often people are discharged from hospital without any advice. You've only got this, you're fine, you've had, a little stroke, there's no deficits, but once you get home you start to realise, my thinking's not quite what it used to be, or I'm very fatigued, those sorts of things. It's reaching out and getting that advice. The other thing in terms of mental fitness is just making those healthy lifestyle choices, and again, from that secondary preventative care perspective of stroke, but many of those positive changes in one area of your life can help produce benefits in others. So even, having a high-fat diet not only increases your risk of obesity and diabetes, but it has an effect on your cognition. Smoking can compromise your lung capacity, makes it then harder to complete your physical activity, which then leads to more health issues and more cognitive problems. So there's also a correlation between sexual activity and cognitive function. Now, I thought I was leading in after Sandra Lever today, but obviously not. But again, number of reasons. Inherent social connection it provides, that release of hormones as well. Sleep, another really important health component. So getting less than 6.5 hours sleep is associated with a higher risk of cognitive deficit. Another study showed too much sleep or poor quality are both associated with poor memory. So it seems to be, again, what we're being told, 8 hours of quality sleep is the best. And I did read somewhere that afternoon naps are okay, which my husband, who is Spanish, says, well, they already knew that around siestas. This was just off the World Health Organization, and they put this on their little LinkedIn I saw the other day. But you only have one brain, so take good care of it. And there's a lot you can do for a healthy brain. So keeping physically active, eat a healthy diet, get enough sleep, stimulate your mind, so those cognitive activities, doing activities that are meaningful, that are motivating, that's engaging, and looking after your heart. And they did say wear a helmet as well. So I guess the takeaway is mental fitness is crucial because it enhances your overall well-being and quality of life. Just as physical fitness keeps your body strong and resilient, mental fitness ensures your mind remains sharp, adaptable and capable of managing the stresses of daily life. Thank you.